I like this. They didn't, I don't know when they added this, but I opened the game and it crashed like 3 times. But right now it's not crashing, and this is what you get. This is amazing. This is the first time I've seen a visual novel with a fucking music video on it. Please don't crash. I actually want to play this. It's been a while. Sorry it's been a while. Why have I recorded things? Because I don't know, I'm lazy. But I opened that, and like I cleared my game stuff out because I had to do something. And last time I seen all my saves were there. Hopefully they're still there. And hopefully this game doesn't crash again, because that would be bad. I don't want my game to crash. I want to play some realistic waifu simulator, because that means if not, I have to install the game and reinstall it. Ho! Ho! Yes! Didn't crash. Hands up to not crash. Okay, let's just make sure our stuff's still here. Yep. So that's where we would have left off. I think this right here is where we left it off, and then we had to find out where. Well, whatever. We're gonna start. But yeah, I know it's been a while since I've played this kind of jazzy stuff. Make sure all my sounds are good. I'm gonna turn the sound down just a little bit more. But yeah, I opened up in that amazing video, so I hope I actually captured that, and hopefully that's not copyright infringed. It might be because it's a really good song, but I've seen it, and you know what, if this video gets, you know, demonetized or whatever, or copyright strike because of that, not copyright strike, but usually most of the time it just says you have music in this, it's someone else's creative entity or whatever, they will claim monetization on the video, which, you know, it's perfectly fine for this one, because you need to see that opening. I was going to try to do it and be like, oh, you don't get to see it, but I think that seeing that is amazing, and I think you should get to experience that. So yeah, but yeah, let's get get through back to the waifu simulator. Let me move my mic closer to my gob. I wake up. That was a crazy day yesterday, but somehow we managed to pull through. I stand up and stretch while looking around. Yeah, I forgot that enter key doesn't work. Okay, we're clicking. It's point and click adventure. It's been a while, like I said. Everyone seems to be sleeping. Everyone but Leanna, of course. She is always up and bright and real practice. I think she's rubbing off on me because I'm waking up early these days, too. It's your Pongo. It's been such a while. I look down at my Pongo. Last time I seen a Pongo is because I participate in their Discord. Join the Discord. He's a bigger blob than I remember. He grins contently. Oh, yeah, didn't he eat all the, yeah, you absorbing energy all night? Yeah, the dark energy crystals, right? I'm glad to see no more energy for you. You do you. I smile at my Pongo and pat him on the head. He snuggles against my hand. Whatever makes you happy, little guy. Turns into an evil Pongo. Fucking destroys the world. I stretch again. Ever since I got into the routine with Leanna, I look forward to our morning spars. Between the magic training and the sword training, maybe I could eventually become a mage knight. In your dreams, buddy. Doesn't take me long to find Leanna back in her usual outfit. Oh yeah, she was in that lewd outfit that we like so much. She sits cross-legged with her eyes closed as if in meditation. Her crystal glows in her manipulator, but otherwise she doesn't move. As I move closer, she breaks from her trance and gives me a warm smile.
Good morning.
There's my girl. Hey! Just practicing energy channeling? She nods.
I was just waiting for a certain someone to wake up so we could spar.
It's time to do. Sorry for keeping you waiting, my lady. Yeah, I just butchered that in the most perfect way. I'm sorry to keep you waiting, my lady. What if I don't want to spar? I'm just gonna... I wear an apologetic smile. My apologies, I should not keep a lady waiting. Leanna giggles.
Aren't you quite the gentleman? But don't think that means I'll go easy on you.
I ready my blade. I wouldn't have it any other... You can tell I'm not used to reading out in... Frig. I wouldn't have it any other way.
We'll start with a standard spar. The goal is to knock your opponent to the ground. Ready?
My grip tightens around my blade. I nod. Let's go. I came here to kick bubblegum and chew ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. I just did not read what the last thing. We dash towards each other, and our swords meet in the metallic clang. Lena spins around and swings her sword towards my side. I bring my sword down and hear another clash as metal hits metal, and then I push my blade back as I move to strike. Leanna easily parries it, and then she knocks my sword away. Creating an opening, I manage to dodge her and strike just in time. I bring my sword down and hear another clash of metal hits metal. Then I push her blade back and move to strike. Lena easily parries it, and she knocks my blade away, creating an open. Oh, we just read that. She ducks low to avoid my retaliating blow, and then thrusts her sword again. We continue to dance back and forth as the duel progresses. I can feel myself improving. I'm not having as much troubles defending against Leanne's attacks, and I'm able to get a few jabs of my own in too. Beads of sweat cover Lena's forehead in a light sheen. It doesn't look like she's using her wind magic to buff her. Lena matches my intensity, something she does every match. Just as I feel confident I have the upper hand, she increases her skill level, and I have to scramble to keep up again. Regardless of my improvement, I still haven't been able to beat her in a single match, and those statistics do hurt my pride a little. Maybe if I can distract her and I can catch her by surprise, I'll have a better chance of winning a match. I've been playing by Lena's rules this whole time. Maybe it's time to take a play from Zake's book. Do whatever you need to win. Initiate Operation Destruction. I mean, I'd rather get better than use cheaty tactics. So I think we're going to say it's okay. I don't mind being a loser. These are practice tools anyway, and the goal is to improve, not win. Yeah, that's what I would see it as. If your pride hurts, but one day you'll get better from getting your pride hurt. Build your character. We continue to spar as usual, trading blow for blow, but ultimately, as she's done so many times before, she manages to knock me over, and Lena walks up to me and offers a hand to help me up. As we cool down, she gives me some more pointers on how to improve as well as offers some encouraging pointers on how to improve, as well as offers some encouraging words on how much I've grown. After a brief break, Lena has us duel a few more times to help with my endurance and training. She's barely broken a sweat, even after my limbs feel like lead and I can barely stand. No wonder mage knights are such a force to be reckoned with. Everyone else is up by the time we return to the camp. I smell the delicious aroma of food and grab myself a bowl. Once everyone is served, we sit down together to eat. After a few moments of silence, Amelia seems to remember something and grabs a book from her pack.
Here.
She hands it to Kara. Kara blinks in surprise, and I notice it's the same book Kara gave Amy back at the Earth Temple.
You don't want this anymore.
Amelia shakes her head.
I have read through the literature, and it does not contain any information which could be of use.
Really? We found it in an old temple. Are you sure it's not something that the Mage Academy would want?
Amy shakes her head again.
The text is a subjective moral lesson in the way of a fictional story about an adolescent. This yields no academical benefit.
Kara thinks and shrugs.
Okay, if you're sure you don't want it, then I can sell it. It's still an ancient relic after all.
Do as you please with it.
Alright, thanks, Amy.
She nods and resumes eating. Once everyone has eaten their fill, we clean up and camp and continue on our journey. We travel together for quite some time. Finally, the sun begins dipping low and streaking the sky with the sizzling pinks and yellows. Rocks crunch under our boots as we continue down the path. The air is brisk and goosebumps shiver up my arms. A sharp breeze cuts through my clothes, and I wonder how much farther we need to walk. We manage to drag our way through the chill deepening with each vanishing beam of sunlight. Kara leads the way a few steps ahead of us. Zake's expression is hard to read, but I notice him pull his coat a little tighter around him. Lena rubs her hands together, together before puffing hot breath into the cradle of our palms. No, not the pango. The pango nuzzles against my neck and disappears into my scarf. He's even colder than usual, making me shiver again. I guess I'm not the only one noticing the chill. I guess you should chill out.
It's pretty cold out, isn't it?
Yes, it is pretty cold. Yeah, it is.
We should pick up the pace. When night falls, it's only going to get worse.
I think I should turn them up a little bit more. Which one is their audio? I'll try hitting that one up, because this one doesn't do it. You don't hear anything. Like, let's just try that one. My teeth rattle from the cold, and I tuck my freezing hands underneath my arms. The bitter breeze swirls through Lena's hair and makes her shiver. She coils tighter into herself. Amelia's cloak balloons out behind her. Oh yeah, she does have a cloak, doesn't she? And she lifts her hood over her head. That's why she's not using fire magic to keep warm. Keep moving. Hey Amy, can't you use your fire magic to keep us warm? That might be a stupid thing to ask.
Such an expenditure of energy would be wasteful.
Fair enough. Oh, come on, Amy. I don't want to that sounds rude, just like a curious question. She shakes her head. Fair enough. A lot of deep defeated side human furnace would be so nice. We continue on, and the wind ruffles my hair and passes right through me, numbing me with the cold. Even Zach folds into himself and stuffs his hand deep into his pockets. Amelia yanks her hood tight around her ears and face and tries to keep her cloak from billowing out too much. Lena keeps her head down, the frigid air turning her cheeks pink. But Kara's walking ahead of us with a little skip in her step. Her arms dangle at her side just as she's in an afternoon stroll. I nudge Zach. Is Kara not cold? Zach untucks himself from his coat long enough to take a look, then his voice drops to,
Doesn't seem like she is.
I wonder what his coat's made out of. I'd think like a leather, but I don't know. Leona hears us talking and blinks in surprise at Kara.
How is she not cold?
It's because she's so hot. There's only one explanation. She's obviously knows magic. Zach and Leona just stare at me. Never mind. Joking fells on deaf ears.
Sorry, were you guys talking about me?
Yeah, you're wearing... Okay, she's cold wearing that, which I can understand because there's some exposure in the leg region. Zach's cold, he's wearing a jacket, and you're wearing booty shorts, some knives, and a barely made Calvin Klein bra. That drops. How does she always hear us? Leanna and Zach look alarmed too, and Amelia just blinks at the commotion.
Aren't you freezing?
Kara looks at her blankly.
I don't think so.
Zach's stares intensifies. His face is frozen in a confused grimace.
Seriously? How's that even possible when you're barely wearing...
Ooh. Kara tilts her head and raises an eyebrow, and she smiles at the rest of Zach's sentence trails off. Leanna gapes at her.
Seriously, what's your secret?
Secret?
There's gotta be a secret to it, right? Or some kind of heating device that's keeping you warm?
Amy steps over and checks her manipulator.
She does not seem to be using any magical assistance to keep warm.
Maybe she's not cold.
Are you guys a little chilly or something?
Leanna's trembling becomes a little bit more noticeable as she huddles between me and Amelia. Kara glances at each of us for trembling forms. In a moment, she seems confused.
Oh, wow. You guys do look cold.
Because it is!
Hey, it's magic that's making us cold. She watches Leanna, Amy, and I step close together for warmth, and her expression changes like a light bulb went off in her head. She turns to Zach, and her mouth spreads into a slow smirk. With the way she's looking at him reminds me of a fox eyeing a rabbit.
Actually, you're right. I'm freezing. Ooh.
She wraps her arms around herself and frames in a violent shudder before cozying up to Zach.
I'm terribly cold.
He shuffles away from her.
What are you doing?
I agree that this is Zach's real life character. Just, what is woman doing? Look towards me. Kara pouts.
Trying to stay warm, of course. Aren't you cold too?
Zach frowns.
Not cold.
Just as he says that, the wind picks up again. He shivers and crosses his arms. A sly grin spreads across Kara's face.
Oh, of course you're not.
She moves towards him and Zach shuffles away again.
Not happening.
I wonder if she's trying to get his jacket. Kara frowns.
But I'm not dressed appropriately for this weather.
How is that my fault?
Kara looks up at him with big shimmering puppy eyes.
Okay.
Aww. She looks defeated and sniffles.
I guess I'll try.
Oh, he's gonna feel like a
somehow.
dick! She hugs herself in another theoretical shiver and exaggerates a few more sniffles for an added effect. Zach shifts side to side, clear and comfortable. He crosses his arm and lets out a deep, deep sigh.
Fine.
He goes to take off his coat, but Kara stops him.
Wait, I don't want you to be cold too.
Well, there's no other option.
That same devilish smirk slides across her face.
Sure there is.
She lifts up Zach's jacket and slips inside, pressing herself against him.
Hey!
What? We have to keep warm, right? This jacket is big enough for the both of us.
Yeah, and you get two personal heaters right in the, middle of you, but I'm not gonna say anything. Zach looks like he's about to argue, but he says nothing. Kara smiles and snuggles into him. Zach's cheeks tinge pink, and he looks away from her. Kara notices his blush and smirks again.
Don't think I'm enjoying this. I'm only doing this because it'll be troublesome if you get sick.
Of course you are. That's so sweet. Thank you.
I just love people torturing Zach in this game. It's great. My eyes drift over to Leanna. She glances at me and blushes before quickly looking away. Maybe that means she wants to get close too? Oh yeah, let's just save before I make a dumbass decision. Anything, 25th, 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 25th. I guess we're recycling, so we're coming all the way back to the first one and saving there. Give the fair melee. Let's try Snuggle Buddy. I wrap my arm around Leah and pull her close. Her face turns beet red.
What are you doing?
This could either work out great or bad. You're cold, aren't you? Me too. Leah's blush darkens and she hesitates. What's wrong? This is warmer, isn't it? She almost smiles, but their gaze snaps back to the other. She quickly slips out of my arms and shuffles a good foot away from me.
No thanks. I'm perfectly fine over here.
But she shivers against the breeze, curling into herself. I arch an eyebrow, amused. Doesn't look too warm over there to me. I lift up my arm to give her room to snuggle back to my side, but she glances at the group again, as if she's afraid they're going to see us. I quickly glance around at the others before fanning out a loud gasp. Wait, are you afraid they're going to see us that we touched? Kara, Zach, and Amelia stop. They look around at us. This is my level of smartassery. Leanna scrambles back over to me, waving her hand.
Stop it! Keep your voice down.
Oh no, body contact, the scandal. Leah slaps her hand over my mouth, muffling my voice and the laughter that follows. Kara smirks.
Is everything all right back there?
Leanna blushes.
Yes, we're fine.
I love the evil in her eyes. That was great. Kara has a wink grin on her face. I think she's going to tease her, but instead she pulls on Zach's arm to keep moving. Leanna pulls her hand away, refusing to make eye contact.
We are nearing Ellendale. The journey should not be much longer.
Fifth wheel.
Oh, really? What a shame.
Aw, I feel bad for her. Zach gives her a look.
I mean, oh boy. Yeah, it's so cold. Good thing we're almost there.
Well, I don't know how she is staying warm. Or at least, I mean, she doesn't care. I don't care about the cold either, so maybe. And she's used to exploring, so I don't know. Maybe she's just gotten used to it. Zach and Car quicken their pace, and we follow them for the rest of the journey. We travel for a few days, and it seems like colder and colder the more we travel, but we somehow manage. On one afternoon, we finally arrive in Ellendale. Holy crap, that looks cool. Kudos to the artist on that. I like the, style of the arches. What is that called? Aqueducts. I'm thinking the Greeks, right? Romans, Greeks, I don't know. It's been a while since I've historied it. But it's a really nice town, is my point. And I like how they did the path lighting with light crystals. Looks real neat. Whoever did it, good job. You deserve a raise. Although there's still a present chill in the air, the sun's bright rays warm us as it glints off their impressive buildings. So why is it cold there, though? I'm curious. The people here are well dressed and pay no attention to us. They must be used to seeing those from out of town. As we venture further into town, I notice lots of people heading towards the center of the square and into a large structure. That one or that one? Or that one? What do you guys think that building is over there? Amy glances at it where I point and brightens up.
That is exactly where we need to be headed.
She speeds up, looking pleased. It seems like everyone else needs to be there too.
Is there an event going on? What exactly is in there?
There's Zeppelin races. But Amy is already out of earshot. We pick up the pace to keep up. I wonder what great things lie in there. When we enter, I'm blown away by the sheer magnitude of the place. Is this... I don't mean to always point this out, but is this the library from the Mage Academy? Because it looks like it. The main door is open to a hallway which splits into adjoining wings. One wing is labeled library, the other one is the conservatory and culture center too. The conservatory does not allow visitors, but the culture center seems to be hosting some sort of exposition. I don't know why that word just blanked from my head. Exhibition? Fucking balls, how do you say that word again? Do you ever get like a word that you clearly fucking know, but it just escapes your mind? Did I say it right?
Exhibition.
Yeah, okay, good. And that is where the crowd of people are filtering into it. And yes, I just Googled that shit and then had it read it out to me. Leanne breathes out and wonders as she takes in the hall. Kara cranes her neck to get a better look into the library while Zach watches the crowd. Amy turns towards us. Reminds me of words that I'm bad at saying that people would tease me about. Paul, if you guys remember, that used to berate me because I couldn't say the word quadrilateral, and I'm pretty sure I just butchered it there. There's things I can't say right for some odd reason. Don't judge me. Leanne breathes out and wonders as she takes in the hall. Kara cranes her neck to get a better look into the library while Zach watches the crowd. Amy turns towards us. Amy turns towards us.
The library in Allendale is renowned for its collection of rare tomes. It is the largest library in Havengard.
Looks like it. Looks exactly like the one from your school.
Since we are already aware the Wind Temple is in this vicinity, I hope that by cross-referencing the books in the library with the notes from Eldorison, I will be able to narrow down their exact location.
Ooh. Leanna nods.
Good idea. Do you need any help?
Amy shakes her head.
I am confident that I will discover the information we need sooner rather than later.
Rip. Kara grins.
You don't have to tell me twice. I've got some business of my own I'd like to take care of while we're here.
Zach narrows his eyes.
What kind of business?
Kara smiles sweetly. The amount of jiggle physics they put in this game, I'm not complaining, but just pointing it out.
I had no idea you took such an interest in me.
Look, I need just a smug emoji of that face of hers. Just of, oh. He crosses his arms.
I just want to make sure you aren't getting into trouble.
That doesn't sound like me.
I love her character.
Alright, why don't we all take some time to relax and explore Annandale, and meet back up here afterwards.
Fair enough. This is another one. Everyone agrees on their separate ways. To my surprise, Kara follows Amy into the library. Zach and Leanna both move towards the exhibitions and seem surprised by each other's choice. Take a closer look at the exposition. Fucking balls. Can you stop giving me that word? And see two signs. I guess the reason there are so many people here is because there are two expeditions going on at once. One is in the Illusions of the Mind, and the other one is about Heroes of Asaria. I know Zach is giving me so much shit that I've butchered this word about 10 times already. So Zach, if you're watching this, just don't. Just don't. Leanne and Zach both walk towards the exhibit on illusions. Check out the exhibit, see what Kara's up to. I'm good for now. See, I like illusions. I don't really want to read. We could just, I like how there's, see what Kara's up to. We'll save that, make sure we save that for sure, yeah. Let's see what Kara's up to, and then if we have another choice, then we can see what they're up to. See what Kara's up to. Kara said she's going to take care of some business in a library. Wonder what she's up to. I headed to the library and find her among the shelves. Hey, Kara. She smiles.
Hey there.
Checking out the selection?
You could say that. I'm wondering if I have something that might interest them.
She pulls out the faded tome she found in the Earth Temple. Oh, yeah.
If this library is as extensive as Amy says, maybe they're looking to expand their collection.
Couldn't hurt to ask. I browsed the books along the shelves. It looks like they got other older books here, too. She pulls out the book and inspects the cover and then grins as she puts it back.
They've got Aria's texts.
Who are they?
The ancient civilization here. They're the people who would have built the Wind Temple. If they've got Aria's tomes, then they're sure to be interested in what I've got.
Kara confidently approaches a librarian.
Perhaps you could assist me.
Librarian glances down at glances down his nose at Kara's and sniffles disdainfully.
Perhaps.
Ignoring his haughtiness, I like that word. Kara pulls the book and places it in front of him.
Would you be interested in a Gaian text?
He leans closer to inspect it.
Where did you acquire this?
From one of the ruins. Unlike most of texts found, this one is very atypical. It's actually a children's book.
Surprise slips through his demeanor.
A children's book?
Kara carefully flips through the pages to show off the illustrations.
Yes, and you can tell it's Gaian based on the calligraphy.
She points to 2 different places on the
The
page.
Gaian's language didn't use punctuation, while the other ancient civilizations, such as the Arai, did. And the parchment itself is out of an animal hide, which is typical of Gaian culture.
Damn. Kara continues to spout more and more facts, but the more she talks, the more impressed the librarian seems. By the end of her speech, his frown is replaced with an interested grin. He further inspects the book and then nods in satisfaction.
Fascinating. And you're hoping to donate it to our library?
Well, donate for a small fee.
Ah, of course.
He lists a number which Kara pleasantly counters. They go back and forth for a while before the librarian finally nods. The 2 of them disappear for a few minutes before Kara returns with a small pouch. She grins as she softly tucks away her pouch. Where are you tucking it? How'd it go?
Not bad. I was hoping I could get a little more, but I still ended up with more than the initial offer. That's a win in my book.
I can't help but be a little impressed. It must have shown on my face as Kara looks at me questioningly.
What is it?
I'm nothing really. You just really know your stuff. I heard you explain to the librarian how to tell the book was Gaian.
All in
Gaian?
a day's work. It's important to do your research in my line of business. Don't want to be ripped off.
Fair enough.
Why don't we go check out the shops?
Sure, it'll be nice to see more of the city. Maybe this is a bad idea, but Kara's like the only one that kind of went off in her own thing. Kara leave the building and wander the cobble streets until we came upon the marketplace. Browse a few of the storefronts. Kara mostly ignores the clothing shops and seems more interested in the stores selling trinkets or antiques. While Kara peers through the window of the shop, I overhear father and son talking in front of a sweet shop. The boy claps happily as his father hands him a candy. His dad grins equally as wide.
I'm proud of you, son. Remember to keep up your studies. Maybe one day you can grow up to be a
Is he
mage.
voice Akira in the other game? I like that voice. It's very subtle. I recall my father's face and know how he looked when I brought home my first A. He looked just as proud and happy as this man with his son. He took me out for ice cream as a reward and then told me to keep my grades up. My parents used to buy me Hot Wheels cars every time I got an A. That was my thing when I was really young. What is he doing now? Does he even know that I'm missing? A hand waves in front of my face.
Hello? Are you still there?
Kara looks concerned. Oh, sorry. What's going on?
You okay there?
We'll be honest. Fuck it. I hope this doesn't throw off things. I just wanted to do this. Sorry, I saw the father and son are there, and it just reminded me of my home. My dad used to buy me ice cream as a word for doing well in school when I was young. Kara's expression softens.
You never really talk about home. Sometimes it's hard to remember that everything is so up in the air for you. One minute you were living life as usual, and then in an instant all of that was ripped away and your life turned completely upside down.
And this is the story, all about how my life got turned right upside down, and if you take a minute just right there, I'll tell you how I became the Prince of Asaria. Kara's voice increases as she talks. She seems to know exactly how I feel. It sounds like you've dealt with something similar. Kara looks surprised and laughs bitterly.
Nothing quite as extreme as being transported to another world.
But something did happen. She goes quiet. Sorry, I didn't mean to pry. It's just unexpected since you're always so confident. I got the impression you like traveling alone, and it's hard to imagine you'd be unable to handle yourself. Carl smiles softly.
I wasn't always like that. When I was young, I lived with my father in a big town. I went to school and gossiped with my friends and played with dolls just like every other little girl.
Can't imagine you playing with dolls. She laughs.
I love them. It's a bit embarrassing how many I had. My friends always liked to come to my house because I had all the popular dolls back in the day.
You realize I can't keep this information to myself, right?
Little girls like dolls. I'm not ashamed.
She's starting to sound a little bit more like herself again.
Anyway, sometimes things happen out of your control, and all you can do is
I hope
roll
I
with
can
the
hang out with
punches.
Leanna. I hope this doesn't throw off the entire story, because some games have, like, one decision that changes everything, and I don't want... not that I'd be upset. You know what? I'm just going to play the game how I want and just see what the hell happens.
I'm sorry that you've been feeling alone, and that it's taken me so long to notice.
Thanks for listening. I'm not lonely thanks to everyone. Don't feel so alone after talking to you. That's not exactly how I thought that was gonna go. Kara grins mischievously.
You should save lines like that for Leanna.
Damn! So we can actually still work this in our favor. I'm not sure Lena feels the same way. Kara chuckles inside.
If only you knew what she says about you behind closed doors.
What does she say? She's not gonna tell me, is she? Kara just smiles and sighs again. Tell me! She
You
winks.
should ask her yourself.
Oh my god. What was the other options? Oh no, that's not what I wanted, not what I wanted, not what I wanted. And poop. Yeah, we're just gonna stick with that one.
If only
Tell me,
you
she
should
went.
ask her yourself.
She glances down at the road.
Let's keep going.
So this isn't all a bad thing. I nod. We walk around for a little longer to explore the city. Didn't Leanna kiss you? So how the fuck you know how she feels? Anyway, eventually we return to the library and exhibition hall and part ways. We'll go see what Leanna's up to. Illustration of the mind sounds like it could be interesting. Some of them are really clever. I went to the exhibit to catch up with Leanna and Zach. Hey guys. Hey, you only had an entire date with like Kara, and now you're just like, hey, you guys didn't move.
Hey! I didn't know you liked illusions of the mind.
I mean, I don't know this world. They can be fun. Leanna smiles and nods. The room is filled with different paintings and sculptures. People mill around each piece, squinting in concentration and quietly discussing. We decide to start one of the... we'll keep that music going. We decided to start at one in one room or the other and work our way down. The first piece is one I'm familiar with, which is a 2D painting of colored spirals. Leanna gasps.
Looks like it's moving.
Zach nods in agreement. We move on to the next one. It's a drawing of an elephant, but something seems off. Both Leanna and I squint at it. It's missing a leg.
Yeah.
Zach leans closer.
Wait. No, it isn't.
Leanna counts.
Only 4 legs, but there looks like there should be more.
This is confusing. We murmur in agreement as we move on. We study the next image. My face turns bright red as is that a naked woman?
Dancing figures.
Leanna nods. Really? That's what you see? The two of them give me strange glances.
Yes. What are you seeing?
I'm just gonna not be... I'm just gonna... also dancing figures. That too is what I see. They shoot me one last confused glance before striking off the road, moving on. We pass a few more images. Both Zach and Leanna are in agreement of what they see in each one. They spot an They spotted the old man in the old man or a woman image, and they saw a swan and a rabbit in the swan image. Every time they agree, they grin at each other, and sometimes they even share a glance that they were in a secret no one else knew. It's a bit uncanny how in sync they are with each other right now. I've never seen them get along so well before, or Zach smiles so much at once. We pause at the next illusion. A man ponders the image thoughtfully. He wears a bloke robe and with gold stripes with a mess of blonde hair sits atop his head. His blue eyes squint intently at the image as he ponders the illusion.
All of these images hold so much meaning. They're the epitome of understanding that not everything is as it seems. If you change your perspective, you're told a completely different story. I see these images and I wonder what it is the artist is trying to share. Which story is theirs? The one that I see first, or the one I understand after further study? This piece has been especially interesting.
He turns to us.
Tell me, what do you see in this picture?
Yeah, Zach share a knowing looking grin.
It's obvious.
Yep.
They answer simultaneously.
Faces.
Vases.
The two of them freeze and their eyes widen in shock.
You meant to say faces, right?
No. They're clearly vases.
Well, there we go.
No, they're faces.
Unless faces look like bases to you, you're very wrong.
Leanna shakes her head.
How could you have been so right about all the others and so wrong about this one?
Actually, in that last illusion, I didn't see a swan. I saw a rabbit!
Gasp! Leanna gasps.
I trusted you.
I thought that was the only time. But I see now that you've been wrong this whole time.
You're the one who's wrong.
No, there's no need to...
They just fucking... Zach just beats his ass. Yeah, Zach glare at him.
Not now.
Leah suddenly rests her gaze on me.
What do you see?
I don't know what the image looks like. Sister prefer misters. Happy waifu, happy waifu. I see faces. Bros before hoes. I would choose that if it didn't say bros before hazes. Happy waifu, happy waifu. I'm gonna have to choose that one just because it amuses me. I don't know what the image is, so... I see faces too. Leanna Green smugly. That doesn't really break anything. Zach
You two
chases.
are perfect for each other. You have equally bad taste.
That's such a Zach answer. And I don't mean like in-game Zach, I mean like real-life Zach. That is like the subtle like roast. Zach has a very particular brand of roasting or insults or anything. And that's like the type of things that Zach would say. Lena and I react at the same time. Perfect for each other?
Bad taste?
She looks at me. I mean, bad taste?
Wait, what did you say?
I saw faces. Her smug grin returns and she spins back to
That's
Zach.
right. See? Their faces.
Zach says,
You're free to believe what you want, even if it's wrong.
that is a Zach answer. She ignores the last comment, content with her win. The philosopher chimes in before the two of them continue bickering.
Have you considered the possibility that you're both right?
Leanna and Zach stop arguing and look at him.
This illusion tells two independent stories, intertwined in a single piece of art. The precision, the illusion, wrapped in perfect symmetry. To understand another perspective instead of being rigid in one's own perception. That is the true intention.
Leanna and Zach nod slowly as if to fully understanding the taking and what he said. Calm and pensive, they face each other again.
I guess it's possible that they're vases.
I'm glad your eyes are finally working.
What? You jerk! You're supposed to say you see faces!
Oh, why would I agree with something wrong?
Ooh. The arguments resume and I sigh deeply. Not this again. My gaze wanders the room and I glance wishfully on the other illusions, wishing we could move on. Hey guys, let's move on. They don't hear me. Guys? Again, the two of them are too wrapped up in their argument to hear me. Seems like this is going to take a while. I guess I'll finish the exhibit on my own and check back with them later. Notice I slip away from the group and I finish up the tour. Yeah, why not? We'll do the Heroes of Asaria. I just decided to attend the expedition and learn more about the history of Asaria. I follow the signs directing me to the Heroes of Asaria exhibit and see a broad wall with the enlarged portrait of 5 people. Below the portraits, the text of Heroes of Asaria. There are some historical items on display, safely preserved behind cubes of glass. I see a rusty sword which was found at the site of the first battle. On the wall, some information about the War of Asaria. I begin reading. The War of Asaria began with the establishment of Void. Originally shadow magic practitioners lived in harmony throughout the 3 kingdoms. A small faction became discontent with the status quo and abused the uses of shadow magic. As the faction grew, they became known as Void. They quickly turned into a dormant force and spread chaos throughout the kingdoms. The 3 kingdoms, Havengard, Vanya, and Krizimar, had been in a constant state of land wars with each other, pushing their borders and boundaries, and did not initially notice the rise of Void throughout the disarray. Void was free to ravage towns and cities within all 3 kingdoms, and the destruction was immense. It wasn't until the Heroes of Asaria emerged that the tide of war changed. Although originally divided, the 3 kingdoms realized they had to work together to stop Void, and they collectively supported the efforts of the heroes. With their help, Void was ultimately defeated, and the kingdoms recognized that their wars helped carve the way of organizations like Void to grow, and they called a ceasefire. Can we, like... Yeah, let's just disappear that real quick. I'm gonna need that screenshot for a thumbnail. Together, they established their borders and found a place. All 3 kingdoms agreed that shadow magic was too dangerous of an element and banned its use. Thus, the Treaty of Asaria was signed. Huh. I heard tidbits about the War of Asaria, but this helps me understand the severity of Void's reappearance. They must have really wreaked havoc among these 3 kingdoms. There's an excerpt on the Heroes of Sorrow as well. We got Kirito. We got Cowboy Bebop. Joking. I just think this is Kirito. I like this ferret though. He reminds me of the one guy from Fairy Tail. I haven't watched that much Fairy Tail, so I can't tell you. Heroes of Sorrow are a group of 5 people who banded together to defeat Void's operations. Although they came from different places in Asaria, they each had the same goal: to do whatever it took to protect their country and people. XZ? You can't tell me the motherfucker center. The motherfucker who, what was that? He grew up in a small town in Vania. Not much else is known about his past, always wearing the classic smirk and known for his quick-witted jokes and shady demeanor. But beneath his bright demeanor is a formidable mercenary known for his powerful fire augmentation, martial arts, and a national leader. XZ likes to tackle his problems head-on, and it's not uncommon for him to be the first to rush into battle. Can you please tell me that... Because he was the techno guy in the other game. After the war, XZ returned to his hometown where he is honored as a hero. Isabelle is a skilled archer from the desert's dunes of Venia. Living in the harsh climate of the desert forced her to grow up quickly. She had a natural proficiency with a bow and wasn't long before she became deadly accurate with her shots. Paired with her casting ability, she is a dangerous opponent and a great asset to the team. She uses the environment to her advantage to target the enemies without being seen. Isabelle began tracking Void's operation at the start of the war and was one of the main reasons the heroes were able to quickly find Void encampments. After the war, Isabelle disappeared. No one was able to track her movements, but many say that she, where they may be, Shadow Magic Isabelle will be there to deal justice. Oi. Wait a minute. Tracking Void carries a bow. Could this woman Bradman talked to back in Wilston have been Isabelle? My eyes widened. I briefly met one of the heroes in Asaria. That's awesome. Odessa can also always be spotted with her loyal pet mink. Minerva, she grew up in Havengard and was a proud student of the Mage Academy. She excelled in her studies and was always in the top of her class. Upon graduation, she was invited to join the Mage Guild. A skilled firecaster, is no surprise that she was selected to assist the guild during the battles against Void. Her magical proficiency and understanding of the alchemy made her a valuable addition. After the war, she returned to her alma mater in Havengard, where she became a professor. Her expertise continues to shape the young minds of these future mages today. Rin Ixie, or Rinks, I don't know, I'm gonna call him Rix. Rix was a student at the Zelic Academy in Krezenmar, where he studied to become a mage. He studied to conjure weapons as pure as ice as a specialty of frost magic. When the War with Thari broke out, Rinks left the academy to join the fighting efforts against Void. Never one to think inside the box, he created and mastered a unique form of materializing weapons out of all shapes and sizes. At the end of the war, he was invited to complete his studies at the Mage Academy in Havengard, which he accepted. He adjusted his studies to become a mage knight due to his weapon conjuring technique. After graduating, he joined the Mage Guild and he quickly rose through the ranks and earned the highest honor in Mage Knight he can achieve, Class S. Robin spent his younger years in Havengard. He was a lively man who had a fondness for song and a knock for poetry. Kind and gentle in his nature, he was often found reading the texts of past histories. Even in his youth, he had a passion for helping others. He had a skill for wind magic, but he only used his casting to protect others, and when he felt the situation was dire, regardless of how infrequently he chose to cast, it did not lessen just how powerful the mage he was. After the war's end, Robin disappeared. Many believe he has been killed in battle. Nevertheless, Asari chooses to remember him for the hero he is, the savior of the kingdoms. This is pretty interesting. I can see whether the other heroes are so respected. I continue browsing the exhibit until I've finally seen all there is to see. I'm ready to call it a day.
I like that little history. I took advantage because we don't technically know anything about this world, so I might as well take any information we can get about it. The scan is beginning to dip into the sky. I better go check on Amy to see if she's made any progress. After entering the library, I spot Amelia in a secluded table surrounded by a mountain of books. This is going to be a long episode, I can tell. She doesn't hear me approach. Hey, Amy.
Hello.
She doesn't look up from her textbook. Did you make any progress? She finally looks up at me.
Yes, I did.
What? Sorry about that. She gestures to the books around her.
All of these texts include data on the 100 floating isles. I have spent the afternoon gathering and analyzing all of that information.
Wait, did you say floating isles? Amy blinks.
Yes,
As in they're hovering in the air.
yes,
You don't seem surprised by this.
of course not. The islands float due to the magical dispersion in this area. This is a natural phenomena which has been around since the time of the ancients.
Do people live on these islands?
No, it is not logical nor conducive for habitation. Most of the islands are far too small for colonization, and those which are large enough to hold a small population are not suited for civilization. But because they have been mostly untouched, the isles are still one of the most beautiful natural wonders of Isaria.
Okay, but no one lives in the isles, then why are you studying them?
It is highly likely that the Wind Temple was built upon one of those isles. Based on my hypothesis, the temple would be built on the site of the highest concentration of energy.
Oh. Amy nods and begins to explain her scribed notes. The rest of the group slowly trickles in. Zach, Leanna, and arrive first, and a short while later, Kara
If
follows.
my calculations are correct, the temple should be located in this region.
She opens one of the books into a map and points to a cluster of islands. That's great, but we still have a problem. The islands are floating. How are we supposed to get up there?
Wind magic would solve that predicament.
Everyone focuses on Leanna.
That's true. While I can use wind magic to jump from isle to isle, it's impossible for me to manipulate enough energy to be able to float everyone. I could float myself and perhaps assist one other person.
Which would have to be me.
Obviously, that second person would be him.
Zach gestures to me. Makes sense. I'm the only person who can absorb the energy.
What about the rest of us?
Don't worry, Kara. I'll bring you back some souvenirs from the temple. Kara
I
laughs.
appreciate that, but we should still be close by. The least we can do is keep watch.
We can set up at the edge of the first isle and wait for their return.
Kara nods.
That sounds good to me.
There's still some distance for us to travel to reach the isles. We can cross that distance as a group and split up from there.
Yes, but tomorrow. It's already growing dark, so we should rest tonight.
Let's go find an inn then.
This is going to be a fun adventure. Once in agreement, we help Amy clean up and return to the streets. I love this town. You know, I'm going to get this as a screenshot because this might make a better thumbnail. I like this town so much, and I like it at night, or sunset. Now the sun is set, the cold steeps through my clothes and chills my skin. A shiver crawls deep down my spine. Leanna blows on her hands.
The change in temperature is really apparent without the sun.
Amy glances at Leanna.
If you are cold, perhaps we should inquire whether the Flushed Mermaid has any rooms. Their rooms are more luxurious than the inns we may be used to, but there is a fireplace in each room. I do believe they provide heat stones we may request to slip in our beds, should the blankets
stones
be
are cool.
insufficient. Plus, their hot springs are open for guest usage.
Hey! Kara perks up.
Did you just say hot springs?
Yes, that is,
You had me at hot springs. Let's go there.
I'm fine with this. We could use a day off or a nice room day relaxation. She begins to push Amy in a random direction.
This is the incorrect way. The inn is towards the west.
Oops. To the west.
She's the greatest GPS ever. Kara hurries away, Amy towards the west, and the rest of us follow along. Our group checks into the Flush Mermaid. The first thing we do is make reservations for the hot springs. Fortunately, their availabilities for the men's and women's hot springs are at the same time. To complete our reservations, we receive our keys to the rooms and go upstairs to get ready. Oh my lord. This is nice. Amy was right when she said the Fluster Mermaid had nice rooms. These are a lot more elegant and grand than any of the others we've stayed in. Zach and I enter the room. My eyes are drawn to the pale wooden dressers gilded with clamshells and pearls. Two couches sit before a flickering ivory fireplace. The mantel is streaked with silver with a mermaid carved at the center. Dang, why don't we always stay in rooms like this?
They're expensive.
Fair enough. Zach heads to his room as I find robes and towels in my closet. Once I am ready to meet up with Zach, and we go downstairs to make our way to the men's side of the hot springs. Yes. I step down to the pool, shivering at my first touch of heat. Zach settles across from me, enveloped in the vapor cloud. I sink even lower in the water that cover my chest. I think every one of their games needs a hot spring. Pango plops next to me with a small splash. After a moment, he drifts back up to the surface like a fishing bobber. Pango drifts in his place, his mouth still covered in underwater. A second later, he plops out a heavy, bubbly noise. A small and pat him on his head. Does he float? This is night, isn't it? Or is he swimming? The Pango beams up at me. He leaps out of the pool and then makes a game of jumping in and out of the water. So, Zach doesn't even open his eyes. His arms are spread along the edge of the pool. How's life?
Fine.
Wait. Silence. Catching any scary bad guys recently? He's been with us, no response. I frown. Sinking a little closer in the water, I notice a huge scar that ripples across Zach's chest. Cool scar, where'd you get it? Zach finally opens his eye and stares at me down. Okay, maybe I struck a nerve. Never mind. Zach turns away. It's obviously not going anywhere. I might as well enjoy the hot springs and stop trying to get him to talk. Close my eyes and try to brush off the awkward conversation. Everything is so quiet. Too quiet. I don't even hear the Pango splashing around. I open my eyes to realize he's not there. Hey, where's the Pango? Zach looks around. The Pango's nowhere in sight. The Pango's constantly running off. Aren't you curious of where he goes?
No.
He's not hanging around with me. He's usually with Amy for science. Zach arches an eyebrow.
And?
Dude, he's totally went over to the girls'
I
side.
don't think so.
We should double check to be sure.
Nah.
It must be done even without you. Don't you want to see Kara in nothing but a towel? Zach freezes and his eyes get wide. He crosses his arm and turns away, but not before I notice a slight shade of pink on his cheeks.
I don't know what you're talking about.
A slow smirk lights my face. My bad, I thought you might be interested. I mean, it's hard to resist the thought of a girl in a hot spring, right? Bouncing around, flush skinned from the heat, wearing nothing but a towel. Or maybe no towel at all. Zach quickly clears his throat.
Well, we'd be doing it for Pango.
Yes! I grin. Of course.
And we're just trying to make sure the Pango is okay. If we end up running into anything else, that isn't our intention at all.
I nod. Zach uncrosses his
And
arm.
I suppose we can check this out, but only for a second.
Yeah, I don't want to go on this guy's bad side. Yes, sir. We both make our way across the hot spring and eventually come across a massive wooden wall. Mist puffs up from behind it. A few crystal lamps are lined overhead. It's so dark that their golden glow can't penetrate it. We hear a loud splash followed by a bunch of girlish squealing. We can't seem not to make out any words. My heart rate starts to pick up. We have to make it over. I move for the wall, but Zach grabs my shoulder.
No, this way.
Oh, this is the moment my mom walked in. Luckily, it wasn't a couple minutes later, because it's probably going to be much worse.
There's a darker spot over there. Less risk of being seen if a guard comes this way.
My eyes follow the shadowy spot he's pointing out. I blink in surprise. I hadn't even noticed it before. It's a good thing to have a mercenary on my side for once. Zach inspects the wall and analyzing the best way over.
Boost me up.
I cut my palms together and give him a push. He jumps with one smooth motion and manages to grab the wall. I get the feeling this isn't his first time scaling a wall. From the top, he extends a hand down. I manage to reach by jumping. He pulls me up. When I had just about scaled the wall, we hear footsteps into the shadow of a guard approaching.
Get in, quick!
Dive over the other side of the wall. My heart starts racing again. Did we actually make it? Uh-oh. We both slip into the hot spring and swim over slowly, not to make any noise or splash. Soon we hear familiar voices.
Anna, that feels so good.
My heart leaps in my throat. I try to take a closer look. Zach pulls me back and points to one of the larger rock formations. His face is bright white as we swim over. But I can't tell if it's from the heat or what we just heard.
Do you like that?
Yes, so much.
This is softcore porno. I love fan service. This is why Pixel Fate's the greatest. We sit behind the rocks and peek over to be greeted with a perfect view. It's almost as if the person who designed this hot spring knew exactly what these rocks would be used for, and gave his or her blessing. Thank you, Heart Spring Architect. You're the real hero here. First thing I see is a Pango splashing around. That sneaky Pango. I knew he ditched us for the girls.
All right, now it's my turn to wash your back. Turn around.
Okay.
I like the sound of this. My eyes follow the voices, and
Kara!
my heart stumbles to a halt. Oh! I don't know if that's advertiser friendly. Oh dear. Kara behind Leanna, her arms wrapped around Leanna with her hands resting on Leanna's breast. That does not look like washing to me. Kara looks surprised before a feline grin slides across her face.
I was definitely not expecting that sort of reaction from a mage knight.
I'm going to have to block this out, because this is a little too risque for me. We'll keep the rubber duck, though.
Huh? What?
Leanna glances down, takes her second to register what's happening to her face, goes a sunset pink to murderous scarlet.
Kara!
Kara laughs and Leanna squirms a little.
How could you do that?
Kara giggles and nuzzles her face between Leanna's neck and shoulder.
Are you really surprised?
Leanna twists away from her, crossing her arms and hide her chest.
Can't just...
She sputters her words to escape her. My eyes have been blessed. I'm gonna have to say that. Oh dear. My eyes have been blessed. This is a good day.
What?
I mean, this is a good day.
It is most perplexing that Leanna continues to claim disinterest in Kara's actions, even though her body language and audible responses are that of positive stimulation.
Uh-oh.
Amelia!
Leanna's face turns even brighter shade of crimson.
That's not true.
I'm just gonna have to just block a lot of this out. Wait, what? Continues to deny Kara's advances? How many times have we missed out? The Pongo blobs with his eyes above the surface, staring in our direction. His voice is bubbly, muffled, being underwater. He blinks. Oh no, can he see us? Pongo jumps and lands on the rock we're hiding behind and bounces up and down with a huge smile. Pongo, no, shh!
Get your Pongo under control!
I'm trying, damn it!
What's going on?
Oh, this is a bad time. The Pongo leaps higher and higher into the air. It reminds me of a little excited dog running up to the greet us. Oh, we're fucked. Leanna reaches for a towel.
Is someone there?
Crap, what do we do? Jerk my head up and gape at Zach. That was the most unconvincing cat sound I've ever heard. Serpent smile across Kara's face as she plants a hand over her hip.
Zach, is that you?
Meow?
Kara laughs out loud.
Oh, this is gold.
Dude, has that ever worked for you before in your life?
Once.
What? How's that even possible?
I realized the guy was deaf afterwards.
Hunger bounces up and down, going crazy with happiness.
I hear more than one voice.
Leanna looks horrified as she hauls herself out of the water and wraps her towel even tighter around herself, stumbling and lunges for the pile of fluffy towels folded into the side and starts cloaking them around herself. Pongo leaps off the rock and straight into my arms. This is going to be bad. I let a deep, deep exhale, and the gig is up. I stand, and Zach begrudgingly does the same. The Pongo leaps out of my shoulder and snuggles against my cheek. This is going to be bad. Aw, man, he's so sweet. How can I be angry? Oh, maybe because I die here tonight. Mila cocks her head.
It is quite surprising to find you two occupying the same hot spring as us. After all, this is the woman's side, and you both are men.
My face goes hot. Oh, what? It is? Oh, we're obviously lost. Just like starts to like walk over. Kara giggles.
What a terrible excuse.
Leanna has somehow successfully swallowed herself in at least 10 towels. She reminds me of a fluffy marshmallow. Aw. One of the towels falls over her face and she huffs as she shoves it back.
You guys can't just come over here.
Kara winks.
Yeah, if you wanted to hang out, you should have just said so.
Huh?
Kara grabs her arms and yanks us out of the bushes. Really? Leanna just looks mortified. What? She grabs even more towels just as herself was trying to cover at this point. Kara leads us into the water and
You
smiles.
don't mind. Right, Amy?
Amelia barely registers this comment. Oh.
The activities of the rest of the team do not concern me lest it disturbs my research.
Research?
Amy nods as she lifts her hand to make one of the waters rise, shaping into a little dolphins.
Oi?
The pongo blinks curiously as I jump down from my shoulder into a small rock to investigate. She smiles and waves her hands. The tiny dolphins dive in and out of the water. The pongo's eyes sparkle with wonder.
Oi.
She looks pleased with herself, but I have no idea what the heck she's trying to research. The car slides in and bumps Zach with her hip, making him jump.
So, did you like what you saw earlier?
He turns away and crosses his arm, but his cheek turns a slight pink.
I saw nothing.
Kara's smile turns wicked.
Oh, really? What a shame. Well, now that you're here, you might as well make yourself useful. I need my back washed, please.
But Leanna already did.
I thought you didn't see anything.
Zach shuts up and face becomes red. Kara grins and hands him a loofah. She zooms over the side and can prop himself up and relax as she sets Zach to work. Swim to one of the edges with the pongo and Amy having fun. Zach and Carl with their own business. There's only one person left. Hey, where did Leanna go? Huh? I turn around, but there's nothing except for a giant pile of towels as tall as a human. This girl. Leanna, is that you under there?
No.
The towels shiver a bit, and I'm guessing Leanna's stifling around from underneath. Why are you buried underneath all these towels?
It's just very cold out here.
Cold?
Yes.
In the hot springs?
That's right.
I'm gonna have to just blur a bunch. If you're uncomfortable, I can go. I give it 20 seconds before it gets hot. I'm not. Hey, I can leave if you want. I swear I can feel Leanna's swearing brush through those mountains of towels.
That's not... I mean...
She takes a deep breath and then layers of towels slowly drop to drop until there's only one left. She curls and takes a seat on the edge of the hot spring, letting her legs dingle in the water. Her face still flushed, and I have a feeling it's not from the heat. You know, all things considered, I think your wolfsdown armor was more revealing than this. Leanna blinks at me and then she laughs.
You might be right.
Although I do have a confession. She looks at me curiously.
What is it?
Even with the stack of towels, I saw something now and I didn't, even with the stack of towels, I saw something just now that I didn't see when you're wearing that other outfit. Your ankles. Yeah, I burst out laughing.
How embarrassing. I
Yes!
feel so exposed.
I'm not dying! Yes! There is a gun.
She laughs again, and the tension from the before eases. We continue to chat for a while longer. Kara continues to tease Zach, who stubbornly pretends not to notice, and Amy conjures little tricks in the water to the delight of the pongo. Once it gets dark, close to the end of our reservation time, Zach and I slip back into the men's hot springs so we don't end up in trouble. After our time is up at the hot springs, we change back in our clothes, meet in the Flush Mermaid's Inn to have a late night snack. Oh, I've already had it. I like this place. We gather around a mother of pearl table flecking with bits of coral. I'm going to end the episode here, but we're going to have many more tonight because I'm going to try to binge play this almost. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed.